Suggestion 1. Using the suggestions. The following is a list of 50 suggestions to help you focus on using the cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT methods, to create the conditions for happiness, a frequently elusive but fairly simple feat when happiness is truly understood. Happiness is not something you achieve. In fact, the more you try to find happiness, the less likely you will be happy. Happiness occurs on how you live your life. Certain lifestyle practices have been shown to be associated with increased happiness. It may be difficult initially to incorporate the lifestyle practices into your daily routine, but the more you do so, the more opportunity you create for happiness to find you. For those of you with Android devices, the Excel at Life's Happy Habits can assist you with developing the lifestyle practices. However, those without an Android device can still use these same methods. All the audios are included on this website, and the assessment will be as well. The following list of suggestions are things you can do to help you learn to develop these lifestyle practices, as well as to identify obstacles to your happiness and provide you with tools to address those obstacles. Some of the suggestions are simpler and some are more involved. It is better to start with something simple that you feel fairly certain you can achieve. That way, you are less likely to feel discouraged. Not all the suggestions are relevant for all people, so review the list, read the detailed descriptions, and choose what is most likely to work for you. As you review the suggestion list, you may find that you are already doing some of the suggestions. However, you may not be giving yourself credit for the positive or healthy things you do for yourself. Keeping track of the positive things can help you focus in a different way. The Happiness Journal included in the app allows you to develop a list of affirmations and positive events which you can review to help you stay positively focused. In addition, the suggestion list is customizable so that if you are using a method that is helping you with creating happiness and want that included in your list, you can add it. Too often, people focus on what they are not doing rather than reinforcing themselves for what they have accomplished. In cognitive therapy, we see that helping people to focus on accomplishments rather than failure helps to break the cycle. When making changes, it doesn't matter how small the accomplishment. It only matters that you are moving in a positive direction. This app includes a points feature to help you give yourself credit for the different suggestions that you try each day. You can keep a daily total of the different suggestions you use. This is to help you focus on what you are doing rather than what you are not doing. Don't try to do everything at once. Just see if you can increase the following practices little by little. The points feature in the app allows you to check the things you do each day and to view a graph on your progress over time. See if you can increase your number of points each day. Suggestion 2. Choose to be optimistic. Happy people tend to be more optimistic. And it is not being happy that makes one optimistic, but being optimistic contributes to happiness. So whenever it is possible, choose to be optimistic. Optimism is a choice. Since optimism is about the future outcome of events, it is a prediction. When you engage in predicting, you do not know what the actual outcome will be, just what you anticipate it will be. Given that a positive outcome is just as possible about the future as a negative outcome, why not choose the positive? The great thing about this approach is that when you anticipate a positive outcome, you are more likely to create a positive, self-fulfilling prophecy and actually create a positive outcome. Whereas a pessimistic approach tends to create a negative, self-fulfilling prophecy, which in turn reinforces pessimism. To create the conditions for happiness in your life, the more you choose to be optimistic, the more you will likely have positive events occur. In addition, during the time preceding an event, it is much more pleasant anticipating a positive outcome than a negative outcome. So no matter what the outcome is, you will feel more pleasant emotions for a longer period of time. Suggestion 3. Listen to the Choosing Happiness audio. Although people are always seeking happiness, there is often much that people don't understand about happiness. In particular, people frequently believe that happiness consists of only good feelings and can be attained by having all desires met. As a result, they frequently seek artificial means to feel happy or avoid negative emotions. This audio helps you to understand what happiness truly is and how to focus your life in such a way as to be more receptive to happiness. Happiness is not something you can find, but it is something that you can find if you create the right conditions. This audio helps you be aware of the obstacles to happiness. By listening to it repeatedly, it can help guide you on a path that can allow happiness in your life. Suggestion 4. Read the Secret of Happiness article. Much psychological research has been conducted regarding positive psychology and the achievement of happiness. This research has been subjected to meta-analysis to help determine what are the conditions under which happiness develops. Reading the article, The Secret of Happiness, Let It Find You, But Make the Effort, reviews the findings of this meta-analysis as well as other relevant research to compile a list of intentional behaviors that can help people improve the chances for greater happiness. Reading this article can help you understand what happiness truly is and to identify the obstacles to creating happiness. In addition, several other articles about happiness are available on this website. Suggestion 5. Change irrational thinking. One of the most common obstacles to happiness is irrational thinking styles that contribute to emotional instability, conflict in relationships, and addictions. Learn about recognizing and changing this thinking. By using CBT to identify irrational thinking styles that can impact happiness, you can learn how to challenge and change the thinking. You may be thinking, how does therapy help with happiness? I just need to have what I want and I'll be happy. The best way to understand this is to understand that cognitive behavioral therapy is a very specific type of therapy and may not be the type that comes to mind for most people. CBT is about solutions. Although past events may be discussed at times, CBT is about how to overcome those influences and live your life to the best of your ability now, in the present. CBT is about examining the obstacles to achieving your goals and learning the necessary skills to overcome these obstacles. Developing greater happiness in your life means creating the proper conditions by engaging in healthy lifestyle practices. Happiness is the simplest thing in the world and the most difficult thing as well. The reason it is the most difficult is because you need to let go of ingrained ways of thinking about happiness and quit seeking it in the wrong way. The reason it is the simplest is because once you let go of these ways of thinking, happiness can simply be. You realize you don't need to seek it. This website has many articles to help you understand unhealthy thinking styles and how you can change them. In addition, Saturate Life's app, Irrational Thinking CBT Test. The test will soon be on the website as well. It helps you understand what thinking styles are problematic for you. And the Cognitive Diary CBT Self-Talk Pack provides the tools for changing your thinking. Suggestion 6. Read article about relaxation. Not only do relaxation methods help to reduce the experience of stress, relaxation can change the chemical balance. Read more about how deep relaxation methods can help you improve mood at a chemical level. Reading the article, Why are meditative relaxation and mindfulness important? About relaxation and mindfulness can help you understand the mindful approach to life. Mindfulness doesn't always mean that you will just experience pleasurable emotions. It means that you can fully experience and use all emotions in the present to help you navigate the complexities of life. Relaxation can be a pleasant state that is created by changing our neurochemistry. Deep relaxation releases norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter chemical in the brain, creates calmness, and is the opposite of adrenaline, which causes agitation and tension. So regular deep relaxation can increase norepinephrine, which counteracts the effects of adrenaline. However, relaxation does not create happiness. It only helps to make us more receptive to happiness and to better management of our emotions. In fact, for some people, relaxation by itself can be an artificial means of trying to achieve happiness. It can be just as addicting and destructive as other artificial means, such as drugs. However, combined with a mindful approach to life, relaxation can further contribute to positive life experiences and setting the stage for happiness. Suggestion 7. Listen to relaxation audio. Regularly using the deep relaxation methods can help improve your resistance to stress and generally improve your mood, which can increase overall happiness. If you read the article about meditative relaxation, you understand that the more you engage in deep relaxation, the more it helps with reducing negative symptoms and improving mood. Generally, research has shown that happy people have less chronic tension. The relaxation audios on this website are one method of achieving deep relaxation. If you are new to doing relaxation, you may find at first that your mind wanders and it is difficult to focus. It is okay if that occurs because if you continue listening over time, you will find yourself more able to relax. As with any skill, relaxation improves with practice. However, don't try to force yourself to relax because it only increases tension. Just listen to the audio and gently bring your attention back to the audio when your mind wanders. Also, you might prefer other relaxation audios you find elsewhere. That's okay too. Use whatever works best for you. Suggestion 8. Assess your happiness. The Happy Habits app includes a test, your happiness assessment, to help you identify the obstacles to your happiness, soon to be on this website as well. A number of obstacles can interfere with allowing happiness into your life. Understanding your obstacles, as well as your strengths, can help you create the conditions for happiness to find you. The app contains a test, your happiness assessment, to help you examine happiness in your life and to provide direction and suggestions for improving your opportunity for happiness. The test consists of 119 items that assess 14 different factors that contribute to happiness: optimism, health activities, locus of control, compassion, trusting of others, affiliation, pleasantness, emotional stability, conscientiousness, assertiveness, self-confidence, gratefulness, approval-seeking, and playfulness. As this assessment is meant for self-improvement, some of the information may be uncomfortable because it can be difficult to look at yourself. However, by honestly responding, you can obtain greater insight into yourself, which can lead to developing a plan to removing the obstacles to happiness. Suggestion 9. Take or review the cognitive styles test. Take a test to learn about your thinking styles that can contribute to stress and prevent satisfaction and happiness in life. Download the app Irrational Thinking CBT Test by Excel at Life to test soon to be on the website, and take the test to learn about your cognitive styles. Your cognitive styles can show you the areas of your thinking that can interfere with developing the conditions for happiness. If you find that you have irrational thinking styles, based on the results of the test, you will likely find the methods of cognitive therapy, such as the cognitive diary, helpful to improving your life. By using these techniques, you can remove the obstacles to success, satisfaction, and happiness in your life. Once you take the test, it is important to frequently review the results so that you can keep in mind the thinking that you need to address. As with any of the CBT methods, the more repetition, the more benefit can be obtained. This test can also be emailed so that you can share it or have access to it outside of the app. Suggestion 10. Read about using the cognitive diary. The cognitive diary is an important tool for changing irrational thinking that can interfere with creating the conditions for happiness. It is a CBT method that helps you change irrational thinking by recording events that occur, your feelings and self-talk in reaction to the event, and how you can challenge the irrational self-talk. Often, people are aware of how their self-talk discourages them or prevents them from achieving what they want, but they feel as if they can't change the way they think. Research with cognitive therapy has shown that thinking can be changed with frequent attention and repetition of the more accurate self-talk. It is not enough to just know that your thought may be inaccurate or irrational. You need to deliberately and consciously change the thought to one that will allow you to handle a situation better. The cognitive diary provides the means for doing this. You can download the app Cognitive Diary CBT Self-Help by Excel at Life to help you challenge this thinking. In addition, this website has a cognitive form to help you learn how to use the diary format. Suggestion 11. Use the Happiness Journal. The Happy Habits app includes a happiness journal where you can record daily affirmations and write about positive events in your life. Keeping a daily record allows you to review your list in affirmation history. Reviewing your list is an important CBT tool because repetition helps people to change ways of thinking or to establish new behaviors. The more you review your list, the more it helps you keep a positive outlook. The daily affirmations includes a list of examples from different areas of life that you can use as they are or modify to fit you. The positive events can be anything you want. They don't have to be major events. In fact, it is best to include small things that you would otherwise forget, such as, I listened to the birds singing on my daily walk, or I saw a meteor shower looking up into the night sky. In addition, you may create a daily to-do list from the suggestions list. As you remove items from the list, they will be included in your daily points list. You may also manually add items to your daily points list. You can edit your entries or write an entry for a previous date that you missed. For those who don't have an Android device, you can still use the same concept of writing affirmations and positive events to review. Suggestion 12. Send Happiness Journal entry. Sharing a positive event or affirmation about yourself can reinforce those positive notions in your mind. The Happy Habits app allows you to email your daily entry. You can do this in other ways too, such as creating positive events posts on Facebook or other social media. Also, sometimes it may be difficult to create an affirmation or focus on the positives if you are not used to it. So sharing your events can allow you to get the perspective of another person. Suggestion 13. Compare yourself positively. People are always engaging in social comparison. However, happier people use social comparison to motivate them or to help them recognize what is positive about themselves or their life. Social comparison is noticing how other people and their lives compare to you and your life. When you tend to notice how others are better than you or have more than you are more likely to feel worse about yourself. In addition, you are likely to feel jealous of others' successes rather than feel genuinely happy for them. This approach is likely to lead to low self-esteem and unhappiness. However, if you recognize that your abilities and your life circumstances are not set in stone, that much is changeable. You can begin to use social comparison as a motivator rather than being discouraged by your comparison to others. In other words, happier people see other people's success as encouraging. They recognize that they can learn from successful people and make changes in their lives to increase opportunities for success. They see others as role models rather than as competitors. Because they view others' success in this way, they can also feel genuine joy at their accomplishments. As with many emotions, this joy is often reflected back to them from others. Thus, this attitude is likely to contribute to the conditions for happiness. Suggestion 14. Pursue success instead of avoid failure. Focusing on achieving success or striving for excellence rather than on the fear of failure helps you to create the conditions for success and happiness. Many people are driven to achieve because they don't want to be seen as a failure. Their accomplishments are due to fear of failure or to obtain social approval. Such a negative approach tends to be stressful, which can contribute to feeling overwhelmed and discouraged. However, people who focus on pursuing success in a positive way rather than avoiding failure tend to be happier people. They tend to see the process of pursuing goals as enjoyable and have a high commitment to achieving the goals. The outcome of whether they are successful or not is not as important as the process of engaging in the pursuit of goals. In addition, this attitude contributes to the likelihood of making greater progress towards goals, which reinforces the process. Suggestion 15. Don't dwell, do. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes or worries about future outcomes, focus on doing. Dwelling on things tends to lead to paralysis rather than accomplishment. Happier people tend to let go of past mistakes and failures more quickly. In addition, they aren't as likely to dwell on negative emotions. They tend to use emotions for problem solving, and if the emotion is no longer useful, they move on. You can do the same thing by using emotions to help you take action. When you are dissatisfied with something, do something about it. When you are hurt or angry, communicate about it and try to solve the problem. Happier people take action. If you want to create the conditions for happiness in your life, you need to take the necessary steps. Happiness doesn't fall out of the sky, you create it. Suggestion 16. Change a negative to a positive. Take a negative self-statement and reword it to create a positive affirmation, or at least a more neutral statement. Our brains are hardwired to look for the negative because being aware of danger is what allowed our ancestors to survive. We still need that ability to some extent, but we have attained a higher level of development which allows us to focus more on satisfaction and contentment in life rather than survival. Therefore, we need to override that hard wiring to look at the more positive aspects of ourselves and of life. One way to fight this tendency is to deliberately develop positive self-statements or affirmations. Once you have done so, you want to review those affirmations frequently to help your brain focus in a more positive and effective direction. The Happiness Journal included in the Happy Habits app helps you to develop these affirmations based on a number of different areas of life experience. If you have particular difficulty with self-esteem and need to develop affirmations directed at the self-concept, you can use Excel at Life's Self-Esteem Blackboard app, which will help you with the steps of the affirmation development. Suggestion 17. Put a worry away. A common obstacle to happiness for many people is the tendency to worry or catastrophize about future events. The problem with worry is that it is making a negative assumption that something will have a bad outcome when you may not actually know that to be true. As a result, it creates stress and other negative symptoms. Worry is a thinking style that can be changed like any of the thinking styles. If this is an obstacle for you, download the Worry Box Anxiety Self-Help app by Excel at Life to learn the methods to control worry. The app helps you to identify whether a worry is important and controllable and how to handle it by putting it away in your worry box. It has additional audios and articles to learn how to manage worry. The articles and audios are also available on this website. Suggestion 18. Take a walk. Even light activity can be effective to help you focus positively on your health. Engaging in healthy physical behaviors adds to the opportunity to create happiness. Without physical activity, your body becomes more sluggish and with lack of use is likely to deteriorate. This leads to additional physical stress on the body to function, which becomes an obstacle to happiness. Taking a walk can help you focus in a positive way and is a healthy behavior. The more you take care of your body, the more you create the conditions for happiness. Any amount of walking is okay, even if you don't feel able to do much. The important thing is to create healthy behaviors and routines. In addition, taking a walk provides an opportunity to experience other pleasant events, such as enjoying the scenery or speaking to a neighbor. Suggestion 19. Eat a piece of fruit. Focus on simple behaviors that can help improve your health. It may seem like a trivial suggestion to eat a piece of fruit. However, it means much more. Too often, people don't focus on self-care. They are too busy or distracted to do simple things that are physically healthy. Eating a piece of fruit represents doing something simple that is healthy for you. As you focus on doing something healthy for yourself, you are changing your thinking. You are thinking that it is a high priority to take care of yourself, and you are taking a responsible step in the right direction rather than demanding too much of yourself. Suggestion 20. Call a friend. Social contact has been shown to contribute to overall happiness. Happiness is highly associated with affiliation. Therefore, contacting a friend can help for several reasons. One is that you are engaging in an activity which has potential to provide you with a degree of enjoyment. Another is that social contact stimulates different areas of the brain. In addition, you are distracting yourself from potential negative thoughts and more likely to replace them with something positive. Also, social support is helpful when you are experiencing problems. It can be helpful to get someone else's perspective or just enjoy a pleasurable activity with someone. Keep in mind that calling a friend means actual contact. Texting or email doesn't provide the same type of interaction or the same benefit. Suggestion 21. Pet an animal. Contact comfort is a basic human need which contributes to positive mood. Contact comfort is the need for physical contact with another living being. In some ways, it is as important as the need for food or water. For instance, many years ago it was discovered that infants living in orphanages where they were fed but were not held often developed a syndrome called failure to thrive, which could even result in death. This was attributed to a lack of physical nurturing, and it still can occur in situations of neglect. Animals can often provide the contact comfort that people need, and for many people, it is almost impossible to be negative with an animal. Have you ever noticed how people's voices will even change when they are talking to an animal? If you don't have a pet yourself, you may be able to find opportunities such as a friend's pet, or helping out at a shelter, or going to a petting zoo. Suggestion 22. Take a drive. Our brains thrive on change. Give your brain a vacation by doing something different. Whenever we do something different or change our routine, different parts of the brain are stimulated. When we stimulate different parts of the brain, different chemicals are released, which can help to improve mood. Again, developing the conditions for happiness may be just doing simple things. For example, taking a drive. This doesn't mean the drive to work or running errands. Or getting a change of scenery is another simple thing a person can do. In fact, a change of scenery can be looking at what you see every day with a different perspective. For example, choose to look for the different variation of colors in your environment, or notice the microcosmic world. Any activity that is out of your normal routine will do. The idea is to engage in some activity that stimulates the brain in a different way. Suggestion 23. Follow a sleep routine. Happiness is closely associated with physical health. Another area of health that can contribute to positive mood and overall happiness is obtaining proper sleep. Too many people are sleep deprived, which tends to create stress, an obstacle to developing happiness. Several factors can interfere with proper sleep. First, those who are sleeping excessively. It is important to establish your sleep hours and to stay awake during the rest of the time. Excessive sleep can change your chemical balance so as to make you more fatigued and unable to focus or think clearly. Even if you don't sleep well at night, it is necessary to remain awake during your established wake time to help train your body with a proper pattern and to rebalance the neurotransmitters or chemicals in the brain that aid with sleep. For those with insomnia, the most common problem is worrying about the stressors or mistakes made or certain negative beliefs or ideas. This type of thinking is stressful and causes increased physical and mental tension. The more tension a person experiences, the more difficult it is to fall asleep and stay asleep. Relaxation is necessary for sleep. Therefore, the most effective methods for sleep is to engage in relaxing activities for almost an hour prior to sleep, to use a relaxation audio, or do some sort of mindfulness or meditation practice when going to bed. As much as people want to believe that TV is relaxing and will use it to fall asleep, it is not. It may help you fall asleep because you turn off the intrusive thoughts when focused on something else, but it causes other sleep disturbances, such as restless sleep or early morning awakening, because it is stimulating the brain, not relaxing the brain. One particular type of worry that people with sleep disturbance may have is the fear, what if I can't get enough sleep? I won't feel good tomorrow and won't be able to function. This thought actually increases tension and reduces the chances of being able to sleep well, which creates a negative cycle and reinforces the fear. It needs to be addressed with the cognitive therapy techniques in which you identify the irrational thought and challenge it. In this case, the irrational thought is catastrophic thinking, which needs to be changed from a catastrophic worry to an inconvenience. I would prefer to sleep well tonight, but if I don't, it is not terrible. It is just unpleasant, but eventually I will sleep if I stick to my plan. Sleep is an important issue, but often a difficult one to address. As you can see from the above, it involves behavioral and cognitive components. Therefore, when addressing this issue, start with manageable steps and focus on gradual improvement. For instance, if you want to do relaxation and can't focus because you are too overwhelmed, just tell yourself to turn an audio on, even if you don't listen to it fully. Any steps in the right direction will help you to eventually achieve what you want. Suggestion 24. Change a demand to a desire. Another obstacle to happiness is how we approach life problems. Certainly, some characteristics may not be changeable, but others may be learned patterns of thinking and behavior. One of these patterns is perfectionism. Many people who are perfectionists don't recognize their perfectionistic demands. They tend to believe that perfectionism is being perfect, and they don't feel they are perfect. Therefore, they must not be perfectionists. However, that is inaccurate. Perfectionism is the tendency to be harsh or critical with yourself when you don't meet expectations or demands that are unreasonable. It is a belief that you should be perfect. For example, an unreasonable demand is, I should be able to meet other people's expectations no matter what. Such a demand is unreasonable because sometimes others may have expectations that are unreasonable given the time you have or other demands on you. In this scenario, you might have trouble saying no to someone, which can lead to stress and reduce your opportunity for happiness. If you recognize that you have perfectionistic demands, you want to begin to recognize them as being unreasonable and then change them to a realistic desire. For instance, with the earlier demand statements, you could say, just because someone has an expectation doesn't mean it is reasonable. I need to decide what is best for me and refuse unreasonable expectations. Keep in mind that just recognizing a demand for what it is can be a significant step towards changing it, because when you say it is unreasonable, you are changing your thinking about it. Suggestion 25. Sit outside in the sun. Sunshine has health benefits. When you have the opportunity, sitting in the sun can increase vitamin D, which research has been shown to improve mood. Every little thing you do adds up to create the conditions for happiness. As little as 15 minutes of sunshine a day can help uplift your mood. Not only does sitting in the sun provide vitamin D that helps people feel better, it also provides a change of scenery, fresh air, light, warmth, listening to the sounds of nature, feeling a gentle breeze, all of which are mindful experiences and can be uplifting to some degree. Suggestion 26. Exercise. Exercise is a natural mood elevator and contributes to overall health, which helps increase the opportunity for happiness. Not only has research shown that exercise can be a mood elevator, regular exercise of 20 to 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week, can have the same benefit as antidepressants and without the side effects. This does not mean you should stop taking any prescribed antidepressants and start exercising. That should only be done in consultation with your doctor. Of course, the most difficult aspect of exercise for many people is doing it. If you find that this is the case, try increasing your activity level gradually. The nice thing about exercise is that it creates energy, so once you can get past the initial inertia, you may begin to feel benefits. Even starting with a few minutes can move you in the right direction. Be sure not to overdo exercise, or it may counteract the benefits you can obtain. Suggestion 27. Do some stretching. Taking care of your body by stretching helps to reduce the effects of stress. Have you ever noticed how relaxed most cats seem? When they transition from a resting position, they usually stretch first. Stretching your muscles keeps your body in better condition, improves balance, and helps to reduce injuries. Stretching doesn't have to be very involved. You can take a few moments throughout the day, perhaps when you are getting up from bed or a chair, and focus on stretching your muscles. To enhance the experience even more, combine your stretching with slow, focused breathing. Included on this website is a short stretching audio. Suggestion 28. Watch a comedy. Scientific research has shown that laughter releases endorphins, a natural pain-killing chemical in the body, which increases a sense of well-being. Endorphins are released with activity or other behaviors that may elicit pain, even mild pain. It is believed that the abdominal contractions involved with laughter, especially hearty laughter exhausting the muscles, causes the endorphins to release. However, even if you don't laugh when you are watching a comedy, you are still activating different areas of the brain that are associated with a positive mood. Suggestion 29. Think of an experience you've enjoyed. Thinking of an experience you've enjoyed at some point can affect you in much the same way as the actual experience. Our brain doesn't actually distinguish between an actual experience and our memory of an experience. That is why a sad memory can cause us to cry. Therefore, when we think about something that we have enjoyed in the past, we are likely to elicit many of the same emotions as when we actually experienced it. When doing this activity, try and focus on the past enjoyment in a mindful way. Fully focus on the experience, and when any negative or distracting thoughts occur, just gently refocus yourself on the memory. Keeping track of positive events in the happiness journal included in the Happy Habits, or by writing them down, can help you review and focus on experiences you have enjoyed. Suggestion 30. Have a good cry. Emotional crying can contribute to happiness because it affects the chemical balance. It might seem odd to suggest crying to help create the conditions for happiness, but if you have read the articles on this website about happiness, you may understand that happiness is having full access to all emotions, not just having good feelings all the time. Emotional crying due to sadness, pain, or anger has a beneficial impact on our ability to cope with stressful situations in life. When a person is stressed, there is a buildup of the stress hormone, cortisol. Although in small amounts, cortisol helps us cope with stress. Excessive amounts can create health problems and contribute to a negative emotional reaction. It is believed that emotional crying removes excess cortisol from the system. In addition, crying can cause a release of endorphins for reasons similar to laughter, and thereby reducing pain and increasing the sense of well-being. A good cry doesn't even have to be about your own problems. Watching a sad movie that triggers emotional crying can have the same type of release. The bottom line is that a good emotional cry can release tension and help you feel better. Suggestion 31. Treat yourself. Doing something kind for yourself can help you feel more positive towards yourself. Too often people are too busy, overwhelmed, or stressed to focus on taking care of themselves. This can be an obstacle to creating the conditions for happiness. If this is the case for you, it is important to try and break out of this cycle. One way of doing this is by being kind to yourself and giving yourself a treat. It is hard to be negative at the same time you are doing something positive. Allow yourself to mindfully enjoy your treat. In other words, allow yourself to fully focus on the experience. If you treat yourself to a piece of chocolate, for instance, purchase a high-quality chocolate and then fully savor the smell, the taste, and the texture. Take your time and allow it to completely melt in your mouth. When you swallow it, notice the experience of swallowing and the lingering effect of the chocolate in your mouth. With this exercise, obviously, it is important to not treat yourself to something over which you don't have control. For example, don't treat yourself to a glass of wine if you are an alcoholic and can't stop with just one. Suggestion 32. Feel joy for someone else. Focusing on feeling joy for someone else can contribute to your own happiness. The interesting thing about fully feeling joy for someone else is that it usually triggers positive emotions within you. Allow yourself to fully feel the joy of another person's good fortune without comparing your situation negatively. A more advanced technique is to focus on a stranger or even someone you don't like and allow yourself to feel joy for them without judging whether they deserve it or not. This website includes a loving kindness meditation, which comes from the Buddhist psychology practice, not the religion, which helps you focus positively on others. Suggestion 33. Do a mindfulness exercise. Mindfulness exercises can lead to greater contentment and inner peacefulness. Stress, agitation, and despair are the opposites of contentment and peacefulness. The more you cultivate mindfulness, the more you begin to replace negative emotions with more positive ones. Mindfulness can be as simple as focusing on your present experience. You may say that your present experience isn't that pleasant, and you don't want to fully focus on it. However, mindfulness focuses on your immediate sights, sounds, smells, and tactile experiences without critical evaluation or judgment, which allows you to experience the moment in a different way. To learn more about practicing mindfulness, read the article, Why Are Meditative Relaxation and Mindfulness Important? Then you can begin to practice mindfulness for a few moments here and there throughout the day. The nice thing about mindfulness is that it doesn't have to take any extra time. You can do it with any activity in which you are already engaged. Suggestion 32. Watch birds at a bird feeder. Watching birds at a bird feeder is a simple yet mindful activity. Mindfulness is something that is available to us at all times. We don't need any special equipment. We don't need to make the time. We simply need to be aware of the moment. As simple as mindfulness is, it may be difficult initially when you are not used to doing it. However, there are times when mindfulness is more natural, and it may be easier for a person to begin mindfulness practice by seeking out those natural times. For some people, those natural moments of mindfulness occur with nature. Watching birds or other animals as they fly or play, noticing the colors of nature, such as the contrast of the sky and the trees, watching a sunset, listening to the ocean waves or raindrops on a metal roof can all be moments of mindfulness. Some people are more mindfully aware when they are exercising or when they are focused on a complicated task. Whatever the situation may be for you, allow yourself to seek out those natural moments of mindfulness, or to be aware of when they occur, and to allow yourself to fully experience them. Suggestion 35. Stand up. Our feelings can often be modified through physical means. Simply the way that you can stand can increase your sense of confidence and well-being. Try a simple experiment right now. Stand up, lift your chin, put your shoulders back, breathe deeply, look forward. Do you notice how you feel differently emotionally? Do you feel more confident? If you do, this suggestion can be particularly effective for you. Whether you are alone or in public, focus on standing or walking with this physical attitude. If you access this attitude frequently, it will become more natural for you, and you will begin to feel more confident. It is difficult to feel negative emotions at the same time we feel positive emotions, so this exercise is a physical method that can help you change your emotional state. Suggestion 36. Do mirror talk. A method to help improve self-esteem, self-confidence, or motivation is to talk to yourself in front of a mirror. If you are like many people, you already talk to yourself in front of a mirror. How many times when you look at yourself in a mirror do you make a comment about yourself, even if it is a thought? The problem with many of these comments is that they are negative for many people. The idea of mirror talk is to help you change how you talk to yourself. The power of mirror talk is that you are using several different parts of the brain. For example, if you are trying to motivate yourself with a "you can do this," you not only are hearing the thought internally, but you hear it out loud and you see another person, yourself, saying it to you. The more parts of the brain we use to reinforce a thought, the stronger the thought becomes. This is also why it is a really bad idea to say negative things to yourself in front of a mirror. If you tend to do that but have trouble changing it by saying something positive, if nothing else, just try to refrain from saying anything to yourself so that you don't reinforce the negative. Suggestion 37. Eat nutritiously. Another health behavior that can be an obstacle to happiness is what you eat. Eating nutritiously affects overall well-being and long-term quality of life. Eating nutritious foods nourish the brain and help to create more positive moods. If this is an obstacle for you, initially you may want to focus on small things that can help make a difference. For instance, if you tend to eat unhealthy snacks, try making sure you have healthier snack choices available. Or if you tend to go long periods without eating because you are too busy, you are more likely to make the wrong choices because you become too hungry. So having a healthy snack available may prevent you from getting to that state. Your body functions best when you eat nutritiously and is able to combat the effects of stress more effectively. Make a commitment to taking small steps in the right direction. Suggestion 38. Smile. Smiling activates areas of the brain that counteracts negativity and elevates mood. Smiling stimulates a different part of the brain which releases uplifting chemicals. When we smile, memories of pleasant events can be more easily elicited. Sometimes these memories can even be a physical sensation of well-being. Smiling will trigger these different connections and pathways in the brain, making them more easily accessible. As mentioned previously, our visual, auditory, and even tactile or sensation memories are interconnected in the brain through pathways of nerve cells. For instance, with stress, a pathway related to negative events and negative emotions becomes overactivated and reinforces through the ongoing focus on these thoughts, memories, and sensations. As a result, the pathway becomes associated with other things to the point that innocent events can become connected to the negative emotions. For instance, if you tend to dwell on how bad you feel while you are taking a shower can become a trigger for the negative thoughts about feeling bad. Therefore, even on a day when you might not feel particularly bad, the shower can trigger some of those associated feelings. However, the same is true of other behaviors. Smiling, for instance, is most often associated with positive events and feelings. Therefore, when you smile, even if it is deliberate, those positive associations are closer to the surface of your memory and more easily elicited. The more you smile, even privately, the more you are likely to experience those positive memories and feelings. Suggestion 39. Meditate. Meditation is a mindful activity that helps you release beneficial brain chemicals to improve well-being. Meditation can involve a variety of different techniques, such as prayerful meditation or mindfulness meditation or transcendental meditation. Whatever the method used, the process and outcome is very similar. The process involves a deep, focused awareness, and the outcome involves a greater sense of well-being or peacefulness. Meditation helps you to access the alpha brainwave state, which is a healing state that assists the body with managing life stresses. In addition, meditation has been shown to help reduce the sensation of pain and discomfort. The more you practice meditation techniques, the more easily it becomes to achieve this healthy state and experience the sense of well-being. The Qigong videos included on this website are a type of physical meditation that can be particularly beneficial for those who have difficulty with the less active methods provided in the audios available on this website. Suggestion 40. List the positives. To counteract the tendency towards negativity, it is necessary to deliberately focus on creating a positive pathway in the brain. Our emotions can become associated with particular pathways in the brain that may become easily triggered the more these pathways are reinforced. Unfortunately, negative states such as stress tend to reinforce the negative pathways, which then increase the experience of the stress symptoms. To counteract this automatic pathway, it is necessary to deliberately create a positive pathway through frequent reinforcement so that the positive pathway becomes more easily triggered. You may not be able to get rid of the negative pathway, but you can make the positive pathway stronger so that it becomes automatic rather than the negative pathway. One way of doing this is to create a list of positive experiences and aspects of yourself to help you focus on the good parts of your life. If you do the suggestions in this app, many of them are meant to create positive experiences or attitudes. Write these experiences down and reinforce them in your mind by reviewing them frequently. The Happiness Journal, part of the Happy Habits app, includes a way to record positive experiences. Suggestion 41. Use your emotions. Emotions can help navigate confusing pathways. Listen to your emotions to obtain information and to help you make decisions. Many people have problems with emotions. They are either over-controlled in their emotional responses or under-controlled. In other words, they are at the mercy of their emotional state. However, emotions are meant to provide us information about our experience in the world. And we take that information, evaluate, and determine what we can do about it, weigh our options, and then behave according to the decision we have made. Research has shown that happy people are more likely to engage in this process and make use of their emotions. However, over-controlled people tend to ignore the emotional information. As a result, they have more trouble solving problems that have an emotional component. It is important for the over-controlled person to recognize emotions and listen to the information provided by emotions. In addition, the over-controlled person can be helped by learning to access positive, calming emotional states. In a similar way, those with under-controlled emotions need to learn to use emotions accurately. They need to learn how to have more control over their emotions rather than letting emotions control them. So often people think that they have no control over the emotions they feel. It's just how I feel. Although we may not have complete control, especially with the emotions that are reactions to events or situations, we do have control over much of what we feel. If you consider most emotions, they are re-experienced emotions. In other words, we keep emotions present by reviewing them over and over. If someone does something you don't like, you might think of what occurred repeatedly, keeping alive the emotion of anger or irritation. We have a great deal of control over these re-experienced emotions because we are creating them. They are not spontaneous reactions, but a choiceful focus. Therefore, we can make a different choice. We can choose how we want to review a situation. For example, you can focus on the idea that the other person was inconsiderate, which only keeps you in an agitated state. Or you can focus on the idea that the other person has been under significant stress and reacted without thinking, which may help to calm you. Learning to access different emotional states at will can benefit you by reducing the negative states. With the above example, changing the emotional state was done cognitively by changing their perspective of the situation. However, accessing different emotional states can also be done through an audio training method called Rainbow Relaxation Emotion Training that helps you pair certain colors with certain emotional states. Then, when you want to access that emotional state, you can imagine the color associated with it. This is a more advanced method, so you need to listen to the audio repeatedly until the association occurs. Then you may still need to listen to the audio at times to keep the association reinforced. Suggestion 42. Listen to loving kindness meditation. Creating an attitude of loving kindness towards all things helps you to feel more content and at peace. A common obstacle to happiness is negative attitudes towards others. These attitudes may create a self-fulfilling prophecy by expecting negative reactions from others, treating others according to this expectation, and then getting a negative response. If you experience this problem, you need to change the negative attitude for your sake. You are hurting yourself with this attitude because your negativity only draws negativity or avoidance from others rather than support and encouragement. One way of changing this attitude is the loving kindness meditation from Buddhist psychology, which uses the principles of Buddhism but is not a religious practice. This meditation has you focus in a positive way towards others and towards yourself. The more you develop this attitude, you are able to be more at peace, which creates the conditions for happiness. Suggestion 43. Listen to the compassion meditation. Happy people tend to have a great deal of compassion for others. As they do not see others as adversaries, they tend to feel deeply for others' misfortune. Happiness has been found to be associated with compassion for others. Unhappy people tend to be focused on their own suffering and to not be as concerned about other people. If you have this style, this attitude will present as being uncaring or self-centered to others, which has the effect of others not being as sympathetic towards you. As a result, instead of getting the compassion and concern you need from others, you get negativity and avoidance. Many people think that the way to get the compassion from others is to demand it by talking more about their problems or complaining about the lack of sympathy. However, you are more likely to get what you need by developing a more compassionate and caring attitude towards others first. The compassion meditation audio helps you to do this. Listening to it daily allows you to develop a different attitude. The compassion meditation is a more advanced meditation from Buddhist psychology. It is best to be familiar with the loving kindness meditation before using this meditation. Suggestion 44. Reduce substance abuse. As previously stated, happy people use emotions appropriately. Therefore, they do not avoid emotions by using substances, but confront problems directly. An important condition for happiness is healthy lifestyle practices. Many people use substances as an artificial means to create happiness. Substances refer to food, alcohol, or drugs, even prescription drugs used inappropriately. How often do you hear people say, "I unwind with a drink," or "I'm stressed, I need some chocolate"? Overusing these substances leads to an unhealthy balance in the body. Focus on reducing or replacing the reliance on substances. Use other means to help you cope with life stress. The recommended healthy daily amount of alcohol is 2 drinks for a man and 1 drink for a woman. If you are exceeding this amount, you may be using alcohol as an artificial means to feel better. Use the other methods found on this website to help you create conditions to find true well-being. Even caffeine can be a substance that can create problems. Although caffeine in small doses is not harmful or likely to cause this negative cycle, higher doses are almost always a problem. Although it can vary with different people, generally 300 milligrams or less a day shouldn't cause problems. When a person reaches 1,000 milligrams a day, they can have heart palpitations, agitation, and muscular tension. To put the dosage in perspective, an 8-ounce cup of coffee is 100 to 150 milligrams. 8 ounces of tea is about 25 milligrams. And the same amount of soda is about 40 milligrams. Warning: if you decide to reduce your caffeine intake, do it gradually. Suddenly withdrawing from caffeine can lead to severe withdrawal effects, similar to having a bad flu for a week or so. If you're using other drugs to cope with stress, you may need assistance to assess your situation and determine what you need to do. Many people have found that certain foods can lead to a temporary elevation of mood. However, using foods for this purpose is likely to lead to unhealthy eating behaviors, which tend to increase stress and negative mood in the long term. Suggestion 45. Change a catastrophe to an inconvenience. Approaching problems as catastrophes assures increased negativity and feelings of being overwhelmed. A common obstacle to happiness is the tendency for some people, generally, and for many people under stress conditions, to view every problem that occurs as a catastrophe. This usually leads to increased feelings of being overwhelmed. It is important to put problems into perspective so that you can cope better. Most things in life, if not life and death situations, are inconveniences. The more you can view a problem as an inconvenience rather than a catastrophe, you will be better able to cope with it. Changing your attitude about a problem can change the degree of stress the problem causes. If you have difficulty thinking in this way, you might find the cognitive diary exercises to be helpful. You can write about situations and determine ways to think differently about them. Suggestion 46. Listen to happy playlist. Many people are aware that music can create a mood. Listening to uplifting music tends to create a more positive focus. It can stimulate the brain and release chemicals that help to calm the system and focus the mind. Create playlists of music that can create the mood you choose. You can have several different playlists. For instance, create a playlist of songs that always make you smile. Create a playlist of songs that energize you. Create a playlist of songs that motivate you. Listen to the playlist that creates the mood you choose. Although music by itself cannot make you happy, it can help create the situations for happiness in your life because you are making a choice to take control of your life. Suggestion 47. Create emotions, don't justify them. Choose your emotional states rather than trying to justify an emotional state. Happy people have control over their emotions, not by avoiding them, but by using them. Too often people try to justify their emotions rather than making a choice about emotions. For example, someone who is angry listens to angry music, which then reinforces the angry state of mind. Therefore, the person tends to remain in that state rather than taking control of the problem that created the state. The same thing occurs with fears. A person may dwell on a feared situation and seek out information that confirms the fear rather than seeking out disconfirming information. Keep in mind that emotions are to serve you, not you serve them. Happy people don't avoid emotions, but they don't dwell on the negative emotions either. They allow emotions to serve their purpose, but they don't keep recreating negative states. Suggestion 48. Give your time to help someone. Happy people tend to be deeply involved with others. They care about helping others and will make the effort to make a difference in their lives. When you make the effort to help someone else, it often gives you much more in return. Helping others allows you to feel more connected to the world and can provide meaning to life. Happy people tend to have a connection to something greater than themselves. For some people, this can be their spiritual beliefs, but it doesn't have to be. When you believe that you have a sense of purpose, that what you do has meaning, it helps to create the conditions for happiness in your life. Giving your time to help someone else is placing importance on something outside of yourself. Suggestion 49. Take responsibility. Taking responsibility for your actions helps you to make better decisions in your life, which leads to better outcomes. Many unhappy people tend to blame everyone and everything else for their misfortune. They see themselves as controlled by forces outside of themselves, such as luck or circumstances. They tend to believe that successful and happy people are just more fortunate. However, happy people tend to take responsibility for their actions, whether good or bad. This doesn't mean they are overly critical of themselves, but when they make mistakes, they assess the situation and their decisions so they can make improvements. Such a willingness to assess themselves honestly often leads to better outcomes. As a result, happier people tend to create more success in their lives. In addition, when happy people succeed, they allow themselves to fully enjoy their success. They don't feel guilty or undeserving of success because they are also willing to accept failure. Therefore, you can create the conditions for happiness in your life by being more willing to accept responsibility for your decisions and actions. However, responsibility does not mean just apologizing or feeling regret for mistakes, but it means truly taking corrective action. Suggestion 50. Do the nice thing. When in doubt, do the nice thing. When you are confronted with a choice that tends to cause uncertainty and inaction, choose the nice thing. Many times in life, we are confronted with situations in which we are uncertain how to act. For instance, a friend of yours lost a loved one and you are thinking of your friend on the anniversary of the death. However, you are uncertain whether to say anything for fear of causing pain. When in doubt, take action and do the nice thing. In this circumstance, it means go ahead and contact your friend. If what you thought was the nice thing turns out to be wrong, at least you tried. But more times than not, your efforts will be appreciated. There are so many times when people do nothing because they are uncertain whether their instinct is right or not. For instance, you see someone crying on the bus. Your first instinct may be to ask if you can help, but then you tell yourself that it is not your business. When in doubt, do the nice thing. Simple opportunities to do the nice thing occur every day. Sometimes it can just be smiling at someone or wishing them a good day. How you treat others impacts how you feel about yourself. Happier people are simply nicer people.